What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. We are live on YouTube, X, Rumble. We will be live on Facebook, but they keep sending me a notification going, you're doing something wrong, man. I refuse to believe that. So maybe that'll happen here in the near future. We're joined alongside Emilio in Tennessee. Got a fresh sunburn on that forehead over there. My guy been working on the wall. We got Tim in Green Bay. And, of course, we've got the one and only Rusty Undercarriage live from the Oval Office here.
Nice. Upgraded. I like that. Let's go.
We got the chats already lit up. We'll get to those marked here in just a second. Let's kick it off with a little combine information here. I know it's combine week, gang, so we want to kind of keep our finger on the pulse there. And let's see what we were looking at today. So Monday, February 24th was yesterday, right? So we're Tuesday. We got general medical exams today. We had pre-ordered studies today and team interviews for the place kickers, defensive line, and linebackers. All right. The DBs and tight ends did their registration, pre-exam, orientation, and team interviews. And then running backs, quarterbacks, and wideouts had their registration, orientation, and team interviews. So tomorrow, as Emilio pointed out earlier, tomorrow you've got – what's that say? Does that say ortho exam? Is that what that says?
Yep.
Kind of small there. That's what she said. Ortho exam, media interviews, kicking workout, NFLPA meeting, and then team interviews is tomorrow for the place kickers, defensive line, and linebackers. And then, of course, everything else is cascaded one day late. The offensive line will be rolling into town. So it looks like, to answer your question there pre-show, Emilio, we're going to start getting on-field workouts on Thursday. And just a heads up to everyone, Thursday will be a little different. We're going to do a morning show. And there'll be no evening show. Might do like a late afternoon show. That's possible. But we got plans Thursday evening. Then Friday, we'll be back on a normal schedule and be able to get you guys some info. We may go to 2 shows a day periodically when we get all this combine information coming in. But in the meantime, we'll kind of keep it how we're rolling here. So anyway, that answer your question pre-show there, Emilio?
It does. Yep. I was just hoping to get some numbers, but I can wait another day.
Absolutely. Tim, it's kind of like it's all building up, right, man? All this information is going to break loose here in the next day or two. It's going to be absolutely awesome. So we'll be talking RAS like crazy here in the next few days.
Oh, yeah, especially as you see the expansion of the, position groups that come into the fold as the week progresses. It's going to be awesome, really, to kind of break everything down. And I'm sure the information will come in spurts. We're going to have slow days and then we're going to have busy days. And this is that kind of last little hurrah of eval, right? Before you get to the NFL draft in Green Bay. Let's go.
Yeah. And Jacob, we say it every year, man, when it comes combine time. I know you've been helping me with this show for several years now. Everybody needs to go follow MathBomb at MathBomb on X. Kent Lee. I think it's Kent Lee Platt is how you say his name. Could be wrong.
Yeah.
Here's the guy. So, we'll see if he's – actually, is he still on? Hold on a second. Let me just double – yeah, he's been retweeting stuff. Okay. It's weird because it says moving off Twitter to the other one in 2025. Most posts will be there, including to all RAS contents. We need to figure out
what's the other one. What is that?
I don't know. Could have been Threads, right? I don't know if that's
maybe Blue Sky for like a flash in the pan. I think that was gone.
Yeah,
I'm wondering. Mel Kiper in a way.
But we still got RAS.football, so we can get the information. We'll see if he continues to tweet on here. But, man, just an absolutely awesome follow. Hopefully he stays on X because, I got to be real with you guys. I'm not interested in trying to change everything around to every platform every time somebody gets pissed off, angry, or upset about something. I'm like, I don't let other people control my life. That's just me personally. I try to stay this works for me. I'll just hang out here and try to be nice to everyone, no matter what their beliefs are. But that's the goal,
brother. I'm on X for football, and it never disappoints, man. It's a great place to get information, man, when you're talking ball, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's literally, Jacob. It's the one place like where you can just go type in the search, bang, you got the latest information, sort by latest. And now, listen, it might be some fruitcake way out in left field. Don't know what the hell he's talking about, but you got to kind of cipher through a bit. But, I like that a lot better than clicking on articles and having to pilfer through for 15 minutes to find the 2 sentences you were looking for as opposed to someone trying to get wordy, So
true.
Yeah. I had to tone it down on X. I had to it's social media is great until you start taking things personally and then getting in those little kid fights. And I am so bad at that. So I basically have kind of put myself in timeout from the world of X. But it's great if you it's like anything. If you use it the right way, it's awesome.
Yeah, I believe we've all been there at some point in our life. That's for darn sure.
You heard me, bro.
Anybody got anything they want to kick off with here before we dive into what was going on across social media earlier today? Anything at all?
No, I put a lot of notes in the text. I'll dive back into those if we come across them. But just listening to a lot of pods out there.
Why don't we just lead into it since it's fresh on your mind? Because you were mentioning it, like I said, in the text thread earlier. We could start with that and then we'll move on to social media. Is that cool?
Yeah, that works. Still need to do a little digging on some of these other guys. This was from the College Football Podcast with Ross and Emery. He was talking just some sleeper quarterbacks, late round guys, or undrafted. One of them was Zach Zabrowski, a D2. He was D2 Central Missouri, but he won the 2-time Harlem Hill, I believe it is, the D2 Heisman. Basically, won that 2 years in a row. And then the other guy was Jameson Wong from Cornell. So I think that would be a cool one to do a little dive into. And
Where
then,
school?
what's that?
Where do you go to school, Emilio?
Cornell. Oh,
Cornell? You ever heard of it?
Never heard of it.
That's a Bobble Big Red Bear.
Andrew Baines Bernard went there, didn't he?
Absolutely. And then the other one was this was GM Shuffle, and he was just kind of ranking his top 4 edge rushers. He had Carter, Walker, Williams, and Pierce in that order, having Carter going in the top 10, Walker and Williams 10 to 21-ish, and then Pierce 20 to 32. I think that's kind of exciting for us. Pierce hasn't been falling to us a lot, so I think that would be kind of cool. And then I'll do a little double check on where our board is, and then just some other nuggets. I sent over that video. They got to ask DJ a question in his interview. Bill Huber did, but
good deal. But we'll as we walk through social media here, if there's anything that pops up that reminds you of something you heard today, just cut me off mid-sentence and we'll get that info out there. Let's go to the chat real quick. Elijah Gwynn. Been a few weeks since I've listened to a live show. In my feels from the season, but starting to get excited with the combine and draft coming up. Hey, completely understand, Elijah. Completely understand. Sometimes you just got to take a couple weeks, right? After the season's over, kind of decompress, all right, reset. For me, it's usually about 2 days, and I'm like, all right, let's go, man. The excitement for a new season. We got the UFL coming up. I know most people don't get excited about that. I'm telling you, there's nothing better than in the spring grilling some burgers on the back deck with a little UFL football going on.
Dude, Tim, remember that random night that we were texting each other? Just like I'm eating a brat or something. I just turned on UFL. You're like, this is good.
It is
better than I
thought. The XFL USFL merger should go down in history as one of the best moves, I think, in the last 10 years in sports, for sure. But yeah, I remember that. That was last spring, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, it is, man. It's something to just kind of get you through, right? And then into training camp for sure. Mick Knight in the chat. What is the league success rate for signing a player to a second contract, a third contract? Packers success rate. That's a great question, Mick. I wouldn't know how to answer that. Just being completely honest. I do know this. The Packers, if the question is like, how often do the Packers sign someone to that third contract? It seems to be really, really limited to those that are absolutely great football players. That's why, again, I don't mean to pile on their dog, but the Kenny Clark one to me feels like it was a little bit of a reach, right?
Yeah.
But the people before him, your Devontae Adams, your Aaron Rodgers, I'm sure there's others that you guys can think of. Clay Matthews got a third contract, I believe, albeit I don't know if he got to finish that third contract, but still got that third contract. Those type of David Bakhtiari, another one. People that are like Hall of Fame or borderline Hall of Fame potential players, seems like that's what that's reserved for. Go ahead, Jake.
No, I was just trying to think out loud. Did Clifton or Balaga ever get that third contract, or did we kind of cut bait right when they started showing? And again, I highlighted this comment here from Mick Knight, and Jarrell made a good comment. He said, Mick Knight's a good question, something you should ask Clayton, but it's more, we can't get this information lickety split. But if the chat felt like maybe throwing some stats together or maybe bringing it back up tomorrow or something like that, I think it's a really interesting question for sure.
So you specifically asked for Chad Clifton. I think I know the answer, but I'm going to go to Chad Clifton spot track and see if they go back in time.
Wasn't the Kenny contract the right move though at the time? Like because he came into the team so young, he already got through his first contract. He was like 23 by the time he got his second contract, and then by the time he's 27, he signed into his third, or whatever, 28, signed into his third-year deal or third extension. I think that's probably the right move, for the Packers wise. We still got a young dude. He's been in the system. He kind of knows.
I think
he's the last of the Mohicans, right? He's the last Ted Thompson draft pick.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, I think I somewhat agree with you, Emilio. But at the time when it came time for that third contract, I was saying I'm okay with bringing him back for the right price. When they gave him the contract they did, that's where I was like, holy cow! And that's what those third contract type players have been historically speaking for the Packers. It's been a lot of money for sure. I got Chad Clifton information pulled up here somewhat here. So in 2004, he was 28 years old. He played his entire career with the Packers. So there had to be 3 contracts. There had to have been.
Yeah.
If not 3, then that was back when they did the 6-year deals. You know what I mean? So that's a lot more. I don't know, a lot more rare, I guess is the right way to say it in today's game of football, but especially with the Packers anyway. So we're showing him under contract in 2004, and then all the way up until he played until he was 33 years old in 2009. So he definitely got 2 contracts. I'm thinking, here we go. Chad Clifton signed a 6-year, $32 million contract. It's hilarious. Left tackle. Listen to his cap hits, guys. This is wild. $3 million, $2 million, $5 million, $6 million, $7 million, $8 million for a franchise left tackle.
Money's not real ever since we got off the gold standard.
Tune into the After Hours episode, guys, and we'll break that down for those who don't know what Tim is. So, that's an interesting one. Who was another one that you were talking about, Jacob?
I brought up Bulaga, but now that I'm thinking about it, I think Bulaga, there was injury concern, and I think we shipped him off to whatever team he ended up finishing his career at with some injury concerns. So same thing, I think, with Lindsley, same thing with certain other players where.
Are we just talking old linemen here?
I'm just trying to remember, because usually it seems like it's your interior and offensive line that get that third contract just because.
Donald Driver.
Yeah.
We got Brian Bulaga. So he was drafted.
Did Donald Driver get 3 contracts?
Yeah, definitely. He might have got 7 contracts.
Yeah,
it seemed like he played forever. So we drafted Brian Bulaga in 2010, right? And he was under contract until it looks like 2014. And then in 2015, he must have got an extension. Yeah, a 5-year extension. And then that was 5 years, $33.7 million for him. And then in 2020, he went on to play for the Chargers. So to answer your question, Jacob, it looks like he technically only got 2 contracts, but one was a 5-year deal, his rookie year. And then the other one was a 5-year deal. So if you were to break that down and how contracts are working today, where it's like 3 to 4 years typically, it would have been kind of the equivalent to 3, but technically just two contracts. So he would fall into that 2 contract category.
Gotcha.
What about Randall Cobb? I mean, they weren't consecutive, but he came back, right? Was that his 3rd contract?
Let's see. Randall
People
Cobb
are saying AJ Hawk as well. I think that sounds familiar.
There, Tim. I like that.
Yeah.
Randall Cobb contracts. Let's see here. So he was drafted. I'll never forget. I was at a Joe's Crab Shack in downtown Louisville, Kentucky. Not Louisville, Louisville, Kentucky. That's how it's said, all right? Just so you guys know. And we're watching the draft. And when they took Randall Cobb, I came up out my chair. I was like, this is absolutely awesome. So Randall Cobb, drafted in 2011, right? Played his rookie. His rookie deal was a 4-year deal. And then he got an extension in 2015. That was a 4-year deal worth $40 million.
Bang, there it is.
Yeah. So he was just a 2-contract guy with the Packers. Of course, he ended up coming back to the Packers.
But he came back and signed another contract. That's 3. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Tim was pulling the Bill Belichick.
I'm pulling the technicalities out.
Yeah, Tim was walking the line of the rule book right there.
That counts.
It's Randall Cobb again. Just ask Bears fans.
That was so good. No.
Is there anyone else you guys want me to look up in terms of contract?
AJ Hawk.
AJ Hawk? Okay.
Yeah.
Let me just write this down.
Settle down, Jacob.
What's your all's guess on AJ? What's your all's guess on AJ?
I thought it was, Tim, let me see that mug again real quick.
Yeah,
really rocking the Michael Scott.
Oh, you know it, man.
Nice.
You got to do it, man. Cream and sugar only, right?
That's it. Every day, every morning.
All right, AJ Hawk, spot track. Here we go. All right, so rookie deal was a 6-year deal. All right. Obviously, he was drafted, 4th or 5th overall. So he got a 6-year deal his rookie year, and then he got a 5-year extension in 2011 with the Packers, and then he got a 3-year extension in 2013.
Hey.
And then, of course, they ended up cutting him. It got voided in 2015, so he only played 2 of those 3 years on that 3-year extension. And then he went on to the Cincinnati Bengals and played 1 more season.
That's right.
Yeah. He actually signed. I did not know this. He signed with the Atlanta Falcons in 2016 for a base salary of $753,000, and it voided out, so they must have cut him. So,
wow.
But yeah, so he was a 3-contract guy. That was a good pull there, man. Real good pull. I don't know if it was the Chad or you, Jacob, or who, but that's awesome. All right, let's see here. All right, so we hit that one. Let's move along. Goot said, here we go. So, Turtles, we're going to get into this here in a minute. Goot said, we'll see about Jaire. That don't sound, certain at all. Yeah, we'll hit on it here in a minute when we go across social media. Paul Smith, have you guys seen Ross Tucker interview Greg Cosell, review the quarterbacks, one surprise prospect? I did not see the entire interview, but we are going to, if we have time, we're going to play the audio clip of him talking about Shedeur Sanders a little bit more. So he kind of compares him to Caleb Williams, and we had a lot of conversation about this during the season. The Caleb Williams fanboys absolutely hated us, that's for sure. Ron Samble, how come Rusty is the only one with a last name? That's because, Ron, we try to lay a little low with the government, man. That's just us personally. We're coming up on tax season.
I file my taxes like a true undercarriage. I come from a long line of undercarriages.
Could you imagine the write-offs on a gentleman by the name of Rusty Undercarriage?
Wash your hands, wash your butt, man. That's it. That's all.
Emilio, you think he'd be writing off $50 million in condoms to Zimbabwe? Do you think that would be happening?
Yeah. He should have wrote.
Just be a stack of Dollar General.
All I'm going to say is no tax on tips.
Oh, yeah.
No tax on tips. No tax on tips.
There's people going $50 million in condoms. What are you talking about, Clay? Just do a quick Google search. You might be shocked if you've been out of the loop a little bit. I'll just say that. All right. Social media. Let's hit it. So here was the results from our poll question yesterday. All right. So should the NFL ban the tush push? 63.3% said yes. 36.7% said no. I was a little surprised by this, guys. I ain't gonna lie. What's your all take on which way would you have voted, and what's your opinion of how the public's seen it here? We'll start with you, Emilio. I don't know how you feel about the tush push.
Yeah, I mean, I said no just because
I'm a man, right?
It's been around forever. I don't know. We like you said before, we won the Ice Bowl on it basically. There wasn't a push, but what are we going to do? Get rid of the QB sneak? It's a little bit of rugby. I'm not mad at a couple extra horsepower. It's one of those things where it's like if it's a glitch play in Madden, you're going to keep running it. Like I would just like someone to just let me run the tush push from the 20-yard line all the way down the field, and if they can do that, all right, cool. Then we can get rid of it. But no, I think it's just let it be.
Yeah, Chuck Jaggers in the chat says those cannolis are right off. Let me clear my throat for this one. You damn right they are. Go ahead, Tim. What do you got, man? On cannolis on this poll questionnaire. Sorry.
Oh, cannolis are always a write-off as long as it's your business to consume cannolis on a regular basis. You're all
Business is good.
Business is doing great. But I'm kind of with Emilio here. No, and I've seen AFAM and a couple other people in the chat too. Talking about how hard it is to officiate that type of call because just because a guy's behind a ball carrier doesn't necessarily mean he's assisting them or pushing them, full on. So it's kind of tough. And at the end of the day, man, we see it on typical running plays where the ball carrier stopped at the line of gain and you've got the entire line and the quarterback and everyone pushing him forward before the forward progress is blown dead and the play is stopped. So we've seen it kind of go both ways. Phillies play in particular, how they run that tush push. It's just tough to stop. And until defenses figure out how to load up and stop that, then I think people are going to continue to call for it to be banned. But we've seen Tuck Norris run that real similar play for us a couple of times last year, and he was unassisted. He just went under center and, made the line to gain on his own. So I think if you got something obvious, maybe you call it, but then you'd have to call it, across the board evenly. Pushing the pile, technically you're not supposed to do, but we see it all the time, and you see guys pick up a half a yard or a yard when they need to. So I'm in the camp of just the best call is no call. I'd just let it be.
Got it. Jacob, how you feeling about it?
Yeah, real quick, like Joe says here, he said we stopped it twice, doesn't bother us. FM says, more flags equals more game interruptions. J. Cole has a good point too. We did a great job stopping them in the first game. I just don't like the idea of people coming and be like, you can't do this because you're good at it. So that part bothers me. But there are certain parts of it where you're talking about how defensive players can't do it. You can't jump over certain players on special teams, stuff like that, or project them with their back. So we gotta figure out a way to just make it more well-rounded and fair. Deadfish has a good point too. We just stop it by drafting Kenneth Grant. There we go.
Let's go.
Bingo. And I'm really excited to not have to talk about this anymore, to be honest with you. Like, I know the rule will get voted on. We'll talk about it one more time and be done with it. But I just, I hate these type of topics. But, man, it's been dominating the headlines the last couple of days.
They're not going to do it, right? Come on. Can you imagine Philly wins the Super Bowl and the next year the tush push is banned?
I'm just telling you, man, that's how they did Belichick.
Oh,
they were banning rules every year or creating rules for them. And then, of course, he figured out a way to cheat around those too, which I kind of respect.
Hey, nobody seemed to find a way to stop Saquon Barkley. We're not going to ban him, are we?
All right. Which, by the way, Drew D, I'm going to get your message here next. But in the Madden community, there's a modding community on the PC. If you guys don't know, these guys are crazy with how they mod this game. Like, it is insane the stuff they added to this game. It makes it so much better than the top version. The latest, what they call Start Today mod, where they've got everything, all the coaches in place, everything in place, portraits for the new rookies come in, everything in place for for the offseason. Guess what the opening video was? It was the ultimate troll. So the opening video is Mara, the owner of the Giants, having that conversation about Saquon Barkley in the front office. And then it immediately goes to Saquon Barkley highlights. I was like, if I'm a Giants fan, I'd be confused to play this game with that in the intro. So
that's brutal,
dude. It was sick too, man. I was like, I'm not an Eagles fan. I hate the Chiefs worse than the Eagles, don't get me wrong, but boy, oh boy, I really enjoyed watching that intro. I was like, could you imagine a Giants fan loading that game up for the first time going, you mother, I can't believe this. So anyway, Drew D says, I'm leaning towards yes now because the tush push is only allowed since they legalized offensive players pushing each other, unless they want to go back to making pushing illegal. There you go. Yeah, I think that's pretty fair across the board. So, all right, we'll move on to the next topic. Let's go to the chat first. Jarrell Lee at Jay and Chuck. I'm going to the draft for my birthday. Let's go, Jarrell.
Nice.
First time in Green Bay. Would love to kick it with you guys. Imagine your first time in Green Bay being up there with 250,000 people minimum hanging out for the draft. That's going to be awesome. So Congratulations, Jarrell. Yeah, well, hopefully we'll see you around, man. We'll buy you a Daddy Soda or a Coke Zero, whatever you drink. Sponsor the show, Coke. Whatever you drink, we'll hook you up there for sure. Coach Lynn, if Terrell McMillan slips in the draft, would y'all take him? Yes, sir.
If he slips to 23, yeah, probably. Yeah. You might have to think about it, right?
Yeah, Emilio, we got him number 6 on our board, right?
That is correct.
So I'd be all over it.
He follows up with, he says, I wonder why he's slipping. He used to be a surefire top 10 pick.
And that's why I love our board. And we're gonna get to it here in a minute on social media, some of the late risers. I'll tell you a faller, too. Let me give you a little spoiler alert. Jalen Milroe, like that dude, falling as far as he has. Somebody comes calling for Malik Willis for a 3rd-round pick, 4th-round pick, whatever, and Jalen Milroe fell right in your lap. Sign me up, man. I was big on Jalen Milroe last year.
DJ was saying that Jalen Milroe is the only – he said when they used to grade baseball, their max score was an 80 on a subject, hitting, pitching, whatever. He said that Jaden Milroe is the only quarterback in the class that grades out at an 80 in any category, and it is running. So, wow. I mean, I don't know if that's something Matt wants to dive into or Goody wants to dive into, but I think it's also a possibility if he falls way too far that – I mean, you got to take a chance on an athlete.
Yeah, no, it's a great point, and I'm telling you, man, you talking about a team guy, his energy is off the charts. Like that dude, just he's a leader of men. You can tell. Nick Saban definitely got a dog when he first signed him before he stepped away. So, Drew D, did you hear Eric DaCosta, GM of the Ravens, said in one of their draft models they use Madden grades? Ain't no way. Man.
What?
Did he really say that, Drew? Did he really say it? He said the quiet part out loud. That's wild to think about. Because I'm gonna tell you something about the Madden grades. I had an experience with a guy who was the Madden czar, and I seen him on Twitter several years ago, absolutely dogging players. And I'm going, how do you have a lower overall score or rating for a player that was drafted higher than others? I'm just curious. And he's like, well, teams get it wrong all the time. And I'm going, whoa. So it's kind of like the whole PFF conversation. Like, so because teams get it wrong, you know more than teams? Like, that doesn't add up to me. And then lo and behold, I did a little research on him, and I won't name any names. You guys will know who he is, I'm sure, when I said it. This dude was parking cars for a living. That was his job. He was a valet at a hotel, and he knows more than NFL GMs who's spending 15 hours in the office. Like, what are we even talking about here? So that's wild to think about. Yeah, Judy says, it was on Todd McShay's podcast. That's very interesting. Do you think that was a smokescreen, guys? Emilio, you play these games, man. What do you think that was a smokescreen?
I mean, possibility. I don't know. That's it's lion season, right? I think that's always something you got to keep in mind.
That's kind of where my head went right away. Was like, I don't know.
So that brings us into one chat, if I could pull it up, because I think I love it. You guys know I'm a big fan of a conspiracy. Joe comes in hot off the top ropes saying, conspiracy theory. Y'all think the league told Mark, hey, you can have the draft in Lambeau. We might need a favor, ... leading to the charge to banning tush push. Is that favor?
Mark would have told him, bro, if you're doing that, I want the Super Bowl and the draft in Green Bay at the same time.
Well, maybe that was the initial negotiation, and they had to settle on the draft.
That's the big ask, yeah.
Yeah, you ask for everything, and you take 50%, right?
Bingo, man. Hey, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right, Rusty?
Wayne Gretzky.
Michael Scott.
Michael Scott.
Wayne Gretzky.
Exactly. That's interesting, though. I didn't look at it that way. That would be funny if there was some truth to that. Let's see. Packer fan in Iowa says, going to tailgate tour, get to meet Josh Jacobs, Lucas Van Ness, and other guys for my birthday, early April. Cannot wait. In lacrosse. Hey, congratulations on that, man. That sounds like a really good time. And by the way, I got information. It's not good news, but it is news we need to know. Trying to do the stadium tours. I talked to Jacob over there at Lambeau Field, and he handles all the group setups and everything. And he said that he is not allowed to take any stadium tour reservations starting April 14th through May 5th. So there is going to be no stadium tours.
Okay.
But he said he is anticipating the Packer Hall of Fame to be open. And he's going to try to – I'm calling back on tomorrow, matter of fact, either tomorrow or Thursday. Nice. And he's going to get me some more information because they were having a meeting on it yesterday. So he thinks there's a realistic shot we could get a group Packers Hall of Fame thing, which that would be cool. And, Emilio, if there's any way that I can pull some strings and get you on that field at some point, I will make that happen. Seriously, I will. Money talks. I'm telling you. I will call. I will badger the hell out of somebody. That's how we got a private tour last time.
Have you been on the field, Clay?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I have too. So I know Timmy has, right? So,
Ish.
Amelia, we got to I'm trying to
I know what you were going to say.
Yeah. Sorry.
Think of something else, Jacob.
We got the private tour last time we were there, me and Mandy. It was just me and her by ourselves. We had 2 tour guides. And it lasted it was almost 3 hours. It was awesome. So I'll see what I can do, Emilio, because, man, I'm telling you, if we go back to Green Bay and you still don't get the tour of that stadium, it's going to drive me crazy. So we may –
Even if we got to just sneak him in there and then post his bail later.
Right, I was going to say, dude, the guy's made a living jumping walls. What's one
You know what we need to do? You remember the Office episode? Remember the Office episode where they went over to Karen's
Pilapelli.
They had the mustaches and everything. That's what we need to do. We'll be in
there. We go.
Stop saying my name, Clay.
That's what Goody was saying, right? They still have to get into the draft room and everything, right? They still got to get through all the traffic. They still got to get through everybody out there. He said it might take a little bit longer, but that's something that's crazy.
The way he was talking to was like, it kind of sounded like they might open up the Hall of Fame to everyone who has a draft ticket. So they might be able to just come in and check it out.
Yeah.
So,
that may explain why the tours won't be going on, because they probably need staff to accommodate the Hall of Fame as well. You know what I mean? Rather than opening up everything to everyone.
Yeah. So we'll keep our finger on the pulse there with that whole idea. So, all right, here's something else. Obviously, Ari Mirov tweeted this out earlier today. He said the Commanders have granted permission to Pro Bowl defensive tackle Jonathan Allen to seek a trade per multiple reports. Allen is in the final year of his contract, and none of the money is guaranteed. So I immediately was like, hey, Jonathan Allen's been a dog throughout his career. Pulled the PFF grades. Here's what we've got lately, though, starting in 2021. So go back 4 years. 84.9, dog. 80.1, dog. 59.7, and then last year he dropped to a 56. He had bad knees coming out of college. Most players do, to be honest. I mean, there's very few players that come out of college football like my knees are 100%. But this big boy had some bad knee issues, obviously at Bama. So I think he played at Bama, if I remember correctly. At first, I got excited, and then after doing a little digging, it's a no for me, dog. Especially in a trade scenario. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I mean that's a steady down, whatever you want to call it, decline over the last 4 years. So he's at that dirty 30. What are you going to do? That might be a guy you sign off the street if you lose some guys to injury or something. But I don't know if you're gonna trade for that guy.
Yeah, Drew D makes a great point here too, Jacob. He says even if someone else signs him, then maybe they won't take our guy, right? And maybe somebody will pursue him, right? I mean, the Steelers were willing to trade a 7th round pick for Preston Smith, who's no longer on their roster, right? It might be something like that if they're looking to just cut bait with no guaranteed money left. So,
yeah, I mean, I've never been a big fan of the guy. I've respected him, but I'm thinking more along the lines of that 2020, 21, 22, where he was clearly at the top of his game. That's just a lot. I mean, we forget that these dudes are not supposed to be walking around with 300 pounds of just pure muscle and, that much body weight on their joints, and to just be hitting basically for their whole life at that kind of speed. I mean, you hit that 30 mark and it's just kind of like, all right, now it's all downhill from here.
Yeah. And Coach had me right here. This was exactly what I was going to say. Where so many DTs are in the draft, I'd rather go out and get one in the draft or keep Slayton and draft one. I mean, that's where I'm thinking Goody's going to take 2 shots at D-line, or 2 shots at edge or something like that, just because it is deep. Everybody, Greg Cosell says it, DJ says it. I'm pretty sure Emory Jones and Ross Tuck, the defensive line in this draft is deep. So I do think that that's definitely a possibility.
Yeah. Did you have a number, Emilio? Am I thinking right? Did you have a number of how many D tackles they're thinking is going to go in the first 50 picks? Am I thinking right? Was that you, or did I dream that?
No, I
we
did.
talked about that the other day, right?
I'm thinking Emilio texted us something today, but I could be wrong.
Could be 20 D tackles taken in the first 3 rounds.
Wow.
Dang.
Wow.
Trade that pick back, Goody. Let's go.
Yeah.
Out of 90 picks, 20 tackles. That's crazy.
That's what Ron just said. He says Goody's trading out of first. He wants more than 8 picks. And to be honest, I mean, I don't remember the last time we had less than 8 picks. Or that's maybe in the chat. Let us know, because
you can't fleece the Jets every year. You got to take a year off now and then.
I mean, you guys know how I am. I love that 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th rounds. It just seems like we have more success for whatever we do in scouting. Almost at every position, we just seem to strike gold in those rounds. And I like gold.
Give me the gold. I want the gold. Y'all remember that video? Does that ring a bell?
Mm-mm.
Y'all remember when they had the leprechaun in the tree?
Oh, yeah.
I remember. We need that soundbite. Don't let me forget, Emilio. Write it down.
And the guy's so happy. He's so excited. He's on the news. He's like, I see him.
This one guy walks up with a piece of metal and said, "This is a leprechaun flute passed down from my great-great-grandfather." Bro, it was an adapter for scaffolding. That's what it was. You know what I'm talking about, Emilio? You got to put it in the top, and then you set the new set of scaffolding on. I was like, damn scaffolding adapter. What's he talking about? A leprechaun flute?
No, anyway. Dude, the best part is they go to an actual sketch of the leprechaun, and it's just a very, very bad leprechaun. I'll say that.
You guys
But
talk for a minute. I got
it is
you. We're
Leprechaun.
finding the leprechaun squad.
Fred McFarley says that the last year that we had 8 picks only was 2019. So it's been a minute.
Found it so quick.
Did you?
Hold up a second. Let's save this. Y'all keep talking. Keep doing your thing. I'm sorry.
Yeah. The only thing I've pushed back on that is I'd rather get like 5 solid picks earlier in the draft than have 11 picks for 4, 5, 6, 7 kind of thing.
That was on the news.
Yes.
We got an amateur sketch of what the leprechaun looks like. It was in Crichton, wherever that is, Crichton. So there you go. Shout out to
on the
Crichton.
loose.
Look at that sketch, Emilio. You kidding me? I've seen 7,300 people that look just like that in Knoxville. You know what I'm saying? No doubt about it. Anyway, there you go. There's your leprechaun talk for the day. Let's talk about some Jaire. As obviously Goody was asked about Jaire when he met with reporters today. Now, I want to give credit to the proper people, but this was so scattered throughout social media. I think the majority of this information came from Matt Schneidman. So shout out to Matt and the awesome job he does. Somebody had sent me a tweet with an actual quote, so I just threw the quote up on my Twitter. I think it was Matt Schneidman that actually pulled this quote, or may have put it somewhere in an article or something like that. So Brian Gutekunst on Jaire Alexander's future. We'll see. Goody said when asked if Alexander will be a Packer next season, quote, "We're working through that. He certainly could be, but I think we'll work through that as we go. We've got to get him out there now. I think obviously we've talked about how there's been a lot of frustration on his part. He wants to be out there badly, and not being able to be out there at his best has frustrated him, and that has frustrated our football team too, because we're better with him, but we'll see." So again, the whole "we'll see" thing, it doesn't sway me either way right now. It sounds like it's exactly what we've talked about, and we'll go around the horn with it, and I want to get your all's opinion. To me, it seems like for the right price, the Packers want him back. And Jaire may be looking at this like an opportunity, like, you know what? I could move on to whatever team I want to move on to now. This is the time to do that. That could be the case too. And it doesn't make him a bad person if he wants to move on to another team, right? You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. It just hasn't worked out here lately. But I want to get your all's take on it. Jacob, I'll start with you, and we'll go backwards to Tim. I know he loves this topic, and then we'll go to Emilio. So, Jacob, what do you think here, man? Does this sway your opinion? What percentage are you at whether Jaire will return or not?
I mean, to be honest, I'm just kind of over the games. To me, it feels like that point in a relationship where you've already had like a weird breakup, but then you started talking again, and then you started like getting back into things, and then another one happened, and all of a sudden you're like, this isn't ever going to work, is it? And I just feel like that. I think Ja wants to go somewhere else. I think his ego, as much as I love certain parts of it and what that brings to the team, has another side of it where he's not going to settle for being underpaid in his eyes. And I don't think the Packers front office, specifically Goody, value him or see a value in him that's top dollar. And I would be very upset if we paid the guy top dollar. I just don't want I don't want to keep paying somebody that's underperformed. I don't want another Kenny Clark contract situation.
Got it. All right, Tim, you got anything to add to it, bro?
I mean, I don't get anything. I'm getting nothing out of
Tim
this.
said, I'm going to quote Jaire. I ain't got nothing else to say.
I'm just literally getting nothing. Like, we'll see, we're working through it. You guys know how it's been. Obviously we want him out there, and we're frustrated he's not out there, and he's frustrated he's not. Like, what? There's no news in this quote at all whatsoever. That's boilerplate what your GM's going to say during a situation like this, because he's not going to just open up the books and tell you what they're cooking up right now. That's how I feel. I think I'm still 50-50. It could go either way. There's nothing definitive in this statement. You can try and read between the lines all you want, but I would lean towards there's been little to no change in the situation at this point. And we can speculate all you want. I totally understand, like, kind of how Jacob feels. Basically at this point, it's like, well, if he's going to move on, let's just move on. Let's get it done. Let's make something happen. But honestly, just based on what Goody's quote is here, I don't think we can get anything, unequivocal in this statement at all. I think we're right where we were 2 weeks ago. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I like both those points. I think they're both there. When I also listened to that other thing Goody was also getting interviewed on, he was saying that Jaire's been around, or he said I think he's still around, which would for me be like, all right, I'm still leaning to the fact that Ja's probably coming back. Pay cut, I'm not sure, but I do think that he's probably on his way back. He's like we talked about the injuries, all that. Everybody wants to be on the field. I just don't see why we can't figure something out to keep a solid corner here. You know what I mean? Because if you look at it, like when another
frustration in your voice, man,
right? Because when another team's talking about like Jaire, it's like, oh, like he's got this many interceptions, pass breakups. Like they'll pull all the good stats about him. Like, yeah, he was hurt last year, but like we can get him on our team for like let's do that. Why?
Right. And we're all like, get out of here, get rid of him. Like, I remember Demarius Randall. Okay, guys. You guys remember Quentin Rollins and Demarius Randall? You remember when we were begging and pleading for a cornerback in Green Bay?
Dude, Ahmad Carroll.
I remember Ahmad Carroll. I was so excited. That picture of him walking out of the tunnel at the newly revamped Lambeau Field when they built the atrium, and I'm like, this is the future corner. God,
isn't he the guy that made him practice in boxing gloves? Legit?
Yeah, because he kept grabbing people. Yeah.
Oh.
He's grabbing. I mean, he was grabbing people like R. Kelly. That dude was all over the place. It was just constantly just grab. And I was excited about it. What did he play for Auburn? I don't know why I remember that. Did he play for Auburn? I think he might have played for Auburn. Anyway, I was the name that came to mind for me, Tim, when you were rattling those off, right? Was it Gunter?
Ladarius Gunter, yes.
Our game plan. This is why I was really, really like Joe Barry ain't as bad as y'all are making him out. I remember when we put Ladarius Gunter, the game plan was you're covering Julio Jones all game. What are we? I remember halfway through the game, I'm like, yep, that's what they're doing. They have him matched up one-on-one.
So bottom line with the whole Jaire thing, we just got to remember that
things could be a lot worse. I could be a Bears fan.
It could. Let's go to the chat. So Turtle says the DB class makes moving on from Jaire much easier. So he likes the prospects that are on the horizon there. Fred McFarley said more concisely, quote, he'll be back if he accepts our massive restructure / pay cut. I could see that being the case. I could. Deadfish, if they say we are trying to move him, they are going to get nothing for him, just keeping all options open. That's a great point there.
I love that right there. That's what I'm thinking. That's why we got the statement we got, right? Yeah. You got a bunch of information, but a big nothing burger. We're not going to tip our hand.
Yeah. And as Coach Lynn says, we'll see does not sound good. I completely agree, Coach, because even in the past, we moved on from Aaron Jones. And Goody was all about Aaron Jones. We want him here. He's a leader. He's going to be a part of this organization.
We moved on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
When you hear somebody say, we'll see, it's like, damn, if he was willing to move on from Aaron Jones after he pumped him up to the whole fan base,
does we'll see mean Ja's staying? Is it like the opposite?
I feel like it's on a totally different spectrum, I guess is what I'm saying. I could be wrong. I see it like Goody was leaving that door open for Aaron Jones. Like, if we get the right number, I want him to know we want him back, right? Let's build him up and soften that blow a little bit. With Jai, it just kind of feels like, yeah, we're both frustrated. We'll see. To me, it seems more along the lines of, hey, I think the previous comment kind of hit the nail on the head. We talked about. I don't want to put words into your all's mouth. I know I've mentioned it over and over and over. I think they're looking for a restructure, and I don't think it means a massive pay cut. I just think it means incentive based, even more so that if they do end up lowering the cap, in order to lower the cap number, one of two things has got to happen. He's either got to take a pay cut, or you've got to convert salary to guaranteed money. Well, if you convert that salary to guaranteed money, and all of a sudden he's hurt, he misses half the year again, you're out of that money as opposed to getting some of that game check money back, right? So that's why I'm kind of looking at it like it's got to be incentive based. Like, yeah, how about this? How about we keep your number the same if you play every game or if you play so many snaps? And why would Ja do that? Let's put ourselves in his shoes, right? He could probably ask for a trade, get a new contract, get more guaranteed money, and move along. And it's obvious he's not happy here. That's just my personal opinion. Like, there's been too much smoke over the last 3 years. It's every single offseason this happens. Every single offseason. And it was a big nothing burger. And then he walks out there as the captain and ruffled the feathers. And people were still saying it's a nothing burger, it's a nothing burger. And then 3 weeks later, he's suspended, and it's like, okay, obviously there's something here. So I don't know. Emilio, I related most to your comment because you could hear it in your voice. I want Jaire back. I do too. It's just, to me, it seems like it's getting further and further away, although I am holding as firm as I can at 50-50 until the restructures are in, and he's not one of those restructures. That's where I would lean towards the previous comment of this is Goody trying to not devalue the asset they have that is Jaire Alexander. So,
good publicity.
Great point. Joe, I really need help understanding football. Kalen King didn't start because he wasn't ready. I absolutely see no way he plays worse than what Stokes gave us. Sounds like a wasted year for King. Joe, I know I was on the same opinion. Like, Tim, I put Stokes in that same category as Savage. That's just me personally. And that might be too harsh, but it's like Savage showed us what he was right off the bat. Edgerrin Cooper showed you what he was. Bang, Evan Williams was nowhere near as effective as Edgerrin Cooper, albeit two different positions. But you still look at Evan Williams and go, that dude's going to be a good football player.
Right.
I didn't never see that in Savage. I never seen that in Stokes. That's just me personally. That rookie year graded out like a 66, and you go, okay, we might have something. After that, it was a plane crash the rest of the way. You know what I mean? It was like watching a train slowly derail. So I don't know. With the whole Kalen King thing, though, I understand the frustration there. Do you guys got anything you want to add to that?
Just being at camp, though, last season, I kind of see why they leaned the way they did, because there were probably some technical aspects to the game that they felt King wasn't ready to be out there. And then you had, Stokes Jr. finally coming off this injury, kind of hitting full stride, actually getting a camp under his belt. He had some setbacks last season, but let's be real. It was the best year he's played since his rookie season was last year in Green Bay. He was not a complete liability out there. Obviously nothing exciting. I understand the whole, why did you draft this kid if you're not going to play him? We already kind of know Stokes was probably, one foot out the door after they declined the option on him. So I just think each player's got to be looked at differently when, like uniquely on a case-by-case basis when you're trying to plug them into your system. And if they're at camp or they're into the preseason and they're feeling like King was just a special teams guy and maybe a rotational guy, then that's the way they were going to lean. You got Stokes, who had been on the team already and, was working his way back. So I think those two things kind of went hand in hand. But I agree. I think, going into this season, maybe this is the year we see Kalen King take that step, because that's a great point about Evan Williams. Evan Williams struggled a little bit early on, but we all kind of got those glimpses early and knew that he was going to get around and eventually contribute. And that's exactly what happened. He ended up being a monster for us when he was available. So it's all about guys getting their chance. Eric Stokes was a guy I was excited about too. Like Clayton said, his rookie year, you saw flashes. You're like, oh, wow, we could have something here, we can build on. Obviously injuries and other things kind of set that back. And, time has told the tale, and it doesn't look like Eric Stokes is going to be around any longer in Green Bay. So if it's plug and play with next man up, yeah, your next generation of corners have to step up. We talked about Carrington Valentine as well. That guy played great football last year.
He did, man. He did.
So there's a lot of potential there. And maybe, the departure of Eric Stokes, this offseason will lead to the emergence of a Kalen King, because I truly believe, taking dead last or not that year for us in the draft, they saw something in him. And, maybe he just takes a little bit longer to develop,
Yeah, for sure. All right, that's going to do it for hour one, guys. For those of you listening on the pod, we'll see you on the other side for hour two. We appreciate y'all. And Jacob is out. Jacob, sir, take care of that.
Oh, man, he's got the night shift tonight. That's right.
That's exactly right.
Sanitize the pole, man. Sanitize the pole.
Need that.
If
You
you
got
guys
grease that thing up.
if you guys easy. If you guys want to see more of Jacob, just head over to the office. Okay, he's
Jeez.
that's where you'll
Wash
find
your
him.
hands, wash your butt, man. That's it. That's all.
That's exactly right. Jacob walks in there every night and says,
You ready to go?
All right. So let's move it along here. A little Quay Walker talk. All right. Packers GM Brian Gutekunst on Quay Walker's future in Green Bay, specifically a potential fifth-year option. Quote, there's so many edge guys that are a part of that, which drives up that number, which probably isn't great, Brian Gutekunst said at the Combine. But, yeah, we'd like to find a way to keep Quay around here long-term, whether that be an extension or something. So what he's talking about here is when you throw the linebacker fifth-year option money in there, it's compiled of also outside linebackers in a 34 defense, which are edge defenders, which gets drove up. And it drives me insane. This is like the old – you guys remember back in the day when it was tight end and wide receivers? Tight end got a lot less money on franchise tag as opposed to wide receiver. And Jimmy Graham was like, bro, they split me out wide every play, but they got me on the roster as a tight end, so I get less money. Like, it's kind of that same type of thing. In this case, it's reversed, though. So I want to say the number is like $16 million. If you want to hit Quay with a fifth-year option, it's going to be $16 million. The way I read into this tweet here, or this quote from Goody, is we want Quay back, but we ain't touching that fifth-year option. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
So I want to get your all's take on it, Amelia. Is that how you seen it too?
I think that's the same way. Hopefully we get it from Wyatt so I can get those donuts. But I mean, I'm excited that Goody's looking into extending it, right? I mean, I know there's been a lot of people that are hard on Quay, but again, he's been in the system. He knows Green Bay. He knows obviously new DC, but he can lead that side of the ball. I mean, you can see him gather the guys. He knows how to call out formations, shifts, all that stuff, and having a guy that's got that kind of skill that's been around, you trust him. I think that's huge. I think they're trying to get him under 10, maybe. Let's keep it a little bit cleaner. But yeah, I'd still would want Quay back.
Got it. What about you, Tim?
That's my dude, right?
Mm-hmm.
I agree with what Emilio just said. I mean, he's the green dot for a reason, right? And we can talk about him, not meeting or exceeding expectations and those kind of things, first round draft pick. But, we're 3 years removed here, and he's an integral part of that defense. I don't think that this coming season is the year to put the green dot on Edge Coop. I don't think he's that's probably do a disservice to him. I think just letting him continue to grow as a player in this defense will lead to more explosive plays like we've seen in his rookie season. So Quay's probably the dude. It's just a matter of, making this make sense, I think. And again, Goody with the comment, I don't think he wants to get in anything super specific. He's keeping all options open right now, I think.
Yeah, and I agree with you on the green dot for this year because Quay's under contract for one more year. Whether Quay's here next year or not, let's utilize the fact that he is here and he has been wearing the green dot. And he started to improve as the season went on there, especially in the last part of the year. And obviously the injury is going to set him back again. Hopefully he comes back stronger than ever and he's good to go.
Yep.
But I'm with you. Keep the green dot on Quay. Now, we got to talk money. We got to talk dollars and cents. Like, it's not just going to be hey, I would lock him back. But, like, what's the number? I need to know the number from you guys. What's the number that you would bring Quay back on? It can be, let's say, a 3-year deal, because a 1-year deal might just be a bridge in the gap, and that's kind of the easy way out, right? 3-year deal, how much money per year average annual value do you think Quay's worth to have him back on the roster? I've got a number in mind, but I want to get your all's take before I spill that here. Emilio, you got a number. You're playing Madden, bro.
Yeah.
You're re-signing Quay. Now listen, you're not re-signing Quay. That's a 78 overall.
You mean you don't adjust the slider and turn the salary cap off when you're?
What is his overall? Just so I can get an idea. What do you have him as an overall? Just so I can figure out where I'm trying to put my number here.
I handle that stuff different. I try to do it realistically. So I'm the weirdo that will lower ratings to make it more realistic. I think that with his physical skill set, people look at him like an 80. You know what I mean? On Madden, a Madden rating like 80. For me, I got to be real. I think he's like a 73, 72-ish. That's me personally. So, what? And again, no, it's forget that for a second.
No, I know. I hear you.
What do you think Quay's worth, man?
I think we could get him. 3 years. Say like 17 million, 18 million, and then some incentives, get him up to, possibility up to 30 or something. I mean, if he tears it up, give him the 30 mil. But I would say 3 years at 18 and we can go from there.
So you're saying $6 million per? was your
Yeah.
number. Is that right? Joe, I like what Joe said. It kind of echoes what you just said, Emilio. I'll give Quay $15 million if he gets 5 picks, 5 sacks. Incentivize it, right? Incentivize that contract. You can do that. Tim, it sounds like Emilio's at $6 million per year. What would you give Quay?
That's where I was. I was thinking 6 to 8 mil range, somewhere in between. Yep.
Yeah. My number was 5 or under. Like that's kind of where I got.
So that makes sense. I've always been a little higher on Quay. So
right. Yeah.
That makes sense.
And you people probably hear me talk about Quay and they think I'm really low on him. I think the dude's a hard ass worker. I think his teammates love him. I think he brings a level of violence on the football field. It's the processing that I struggle with. Like we seen a rookie come in and process twice as fast as Quay, and that's just what I seen on tape. It doesn't mean I'm right and anyone else is wrong. It feels like Edgerrin Cooper was able to dissect plays way faster than Quay, who's been in the league for 2.5 years at that point, right? So, if Goody came out and it was a 3-year, $15 million, $5 million per, $10 million guaranteed, I'd be okay with that. I would. But you still don't stop looking for that next Edgerrin Cooper. You can't stop looking for him. So I think we're all kind of on the same page there. I'm glad we talked about that. I'm going to put contract value as well there, so we know we mentioned that. All right, let's see here. Jay Cole in the chat, give him the Campbell contract, about 10 to 11 million a year. So Tim, Jay Cole's on board with you, man. He's saying 10 to 11 million per year. That's interesting. So there you go.
And hopefully he doesn't end up like Dre Campbell, right?
Yes, I hope another human being on the face of the earth never ends up like that. That dude looks miserable. And my wife said it best when we were talking about one day. She was like, "What happened to that guy that we ran into at the steakhouse?" And I'm like, "Man, it took a weird turn because he was, he outplayed his contract. Obviously, his first year or two in Green Bay. We run into him at Republic. What's it called? Republic Chop House. Right?
Yep.
Yeah. Steakhouse in Green Bay. Nicest dude on the face of the earth. Wife, a sweetheart. Seemed like it's like, man, I really like this dude. And all of a sudden, he takes a turn for the worse. I explained everything to her. She said, "So I hope somebody's checking on him, like in his life, because that sounds like, I hate to say it, and I'm not trying to make those assumptions, but there's been many football players that just all of a sudden something clicked and their life went off the rails, man. It sucks, And it's easy for us to look at the selfish stuff he's done and be like, man, he's a prick. Get him out of here, right? But it's a human being under there too. You don't want to see bad things happen to people. So,
for sure.
What was it the stripper said on The Office? Something was it about hurting people? What was the quote she said? I know y'all were talking about it. Party. What was it she said, Emilio? We need that sound too. Something hurts someone. What was it? Drew will have it. Somebody in the chat, too old for this. If he's in
Get Jacob back in here, he'll figure it out.
Yeah, he can just ask her. He'll holler across the office and go, "Hey, what was that thing you said?" Like Emilio, Google him.
I gotta look it up because I know exactly what you're talking about. Oh, secrets are no fun. Secrets hurt someone.
There you go. It's so damn off topic. This show sucks so bad.
And he goes, you know who helped me the most today? Stripper. Like she's the one I learned from.
Oh my gosh. His life coach. Coach Land says, wouldn't Quay be better as a weak side backer? I could see that, Coach, but here's the way I evaluate Quay. I try to look at players' strengths and weaknesses, right? And I don't try to determine, is this guy better than that? I try not to do that much because I don't have enough experience in evaluation to do so. Quay, to me, his superpower is vertical coverage. You put that dude covering the seam, he'll run stride for stride with a wide receiver all day long, a tight end, a versatile athletic tight end. He's got the height to play the ball. He does a good job in that regard. His weakness is the processing, right? Like it seems like it's just there's no start, stop, shoot. Like when you start, you gain an advantage, you settle, pick the gap and shoot, right? With him, it's just kind of a start. Okay, let me chase down the tackle. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
I feel you. I think he's kind of like a safety net sort of player, I would say. He does catch a little bit too much for me, definitely. I would like him to engage a little bit more, but I think that we do kind of need that, especially if we're going to just let Coop go. If we like how fast Coop is, you can't slow him up by having him, have to get the play in process, get movements, shifts, because Halfley's still talking to him until 16 seconds, right? So he's still making adjustments, and Coop's over there, hey, I'm going, whatever, and then you make the change. But I still like Quay between the hashes, Clay. I would give him another year or two. I'd be fine with a deal. And I think it was Ron pulling up some of the other numbers here. Roquan at $20 million per year, Warner's at $19 per year. So even if we got Quay, I mean, would you be mad at $10 million?
I love it, man. I stepped away for 2 seconds. I come back. Emilio's defending Quay Walker. I love it.
Let's go.
That's my dude right there.
It depends on the guaranteed money, right, Emilio?
Yeah, right. We could do 3 for 30 and say, all right, I'm going to give you guaranteed 6, and then you could get up to 30 or something like that.
3 for 30 with only $6 million guaranteed. Sign me up. Yeah,
Okay.
And that's the whole. When we talk average annual value, that's the blurred line, right? Like it's like it depends on the guaranteed money. That's why I was saying, when I say how much would I give a player, I try to make it as most appealing to the player to accept a lower cap kind of overall number, and that's why I said 3 years, $15 million, $10 million guaranteed. That would sway him to go, okay, I'll take less average annual value and get $10 million guaranteed as opposed to, like what you said, $6 million. But when you're young and you feel like you're going to be healthy, you can bet on yourself. Hey, I'll make that money. I'll earn that. I'll make the roster. I'll make sure someone doesn't beat me. Because he's a physical specimen, man. Like you look at him on the football field, that dude is built like that's what you want to mock back.
And you can't tell me he doesn't have emotion built in. I mean, that guy, that guy wears his heart up, bleeds emotion, right? So that's something that you need in the locker room. If he is the heart of your defense, the speed comes from your linebackers. We have it in Coop. Quay has speed. He's an athlete. He's a freak. And if you have heart, I'm not mad at it.
Right. I agree. And think of how far he's come since the whole rookie season, the ejection and all of that and kind of the ups and downs he's gone through. He's certainly processing the game in that respect a lot better, right? Mm-hmm. I think. I mean, we saw a few times last season guys trying to chip him after the play and kind of bait him into that extra contact, and he just puts his hands down and walks away. Whereas, his rookie year, he's probably pushing and shoving and getting a personal foul or something. So I think he's matured in a lot of respects. And I'm with Emilio. Having a dude like Quay Walker out there as you're continuing to develop the freak of Edgerrin Cooper, I think those two in tandem, man, that's a good collaboration going forward.
Harry Cheese says,
my bad. You got it, Clay.
Harry Cheese says, we need to keep Quay to keep cohesiveness.
Yep.
Between him and Cooper, just like what you were saying, Tim. Let those boys learn how to read each other's mind. Go ahead.
Remember how excited we were when we had, the Smith brothers, right? We first got Zadarius and Preston, right? Mm-hmm. Similar position groups. They're going to play in tandem. It was kind of exciting. I think we could have that times 10 with Quay and Cooper.
Could you imagine if we had a pairing like that in the middle, like a set of Bash Bros, just like that, just want to wreak havoc? We can get pressure with 4, but we like to send them once in a while for fun, just because they miss hitting. Like that would be the type of thing that I would love to chase after. I think Joe hit a good point here. He said all this talk about Quay when we still don't know about what Hopper looks like. Don't give me practice talk. Too many examples to count of guys getting reps because they looked amazing in practice. I think that getting Hopper out there is also going to be huge. Preseason is going to be big this year. Again, all those guys are coming out of not having to go through the draft process like everybody's going through right now. Right now, they're in the off season. They can training, could be learning playbook that Matt gave them to leave with, and you're off. Or I'm sorry, Halfley gave them and you're off. So, that's what I'm looking forward to.
I think there's truth to that, and you're going to get more from those. You talk about Tyron Hopper, right? Clearly, we're probably going to move on from either Zay McDuffie or Eric Wilson or both, possibly, right? So there's some more reps to be had right there for your young and up and comers. And I, for one, I'm excited to see, let's put Quay in that Tampa 2 look. Let him do a little touch spy or whatever, fly down in coverage, and then you're blitzing Edgerrin Cooper right up the gut. You got to give these guys time to build that chemistry and kind of develop back there. And it could be something real special, man, in the long run.
Right. And Tim, honestly, I think like Ron was saying brought a memory back. Wasn't Hopper the one that came in with the dot afterwards anyway? Wasn't he
something like that? Yeah.
Wasn't he the one they kind of leaned on after the fact of, hey, if all else fails,
that was Wilson.
Well, Wilson was it, but I think at one point Hopper did when he got a game or whatever. I'm pretty sure he was the dot. I
remember that being a big surprise.
Yeah. I think they like Hopper inside like that, and I would be totally fine with getting him some reps, and then all right, hey, bring him in for an outside linebacker run when we go 4-3. Yeah, a guy that wants to hit, and then all right, get off, run special teams. We'll get you worked in. Quay get through his next extension, whatever that is. Hey, Hopper's ready to go. If Quay's ready to go by next year, all right, sorry, Quay. I mean, Hopper's ready kind of thing.
Maybe that's a reason to keep a guy like Eric Wilson around if he's willing to take a deal, a team-friendly kind of deal. You move Hopper up a spot on the depth chart. Maybe Wilson pops down a spot as your safety valve for depth, and you get these younger guys to just get more reps and continue to develop.
Yeah. Ron Sample says if they keep Quay, they still need Hopper. Injuries happen. Amen, man. It's the thing. Quay went down with injuries. Cooper went down with injury there for a game or two as well, didn't he? If I remember correctly.
Cooper started the year with an injury. Yeah.
Out of camp, right? And again, with the stop rates that we have here, Edgerrin Cooper ended up leading the team in stops with 47. Again, stops verbatim here is it's a tackle that results in a successful play for the defense, which means it's negative EPA for the offense. So it's the player that stopped the play on a negative EPA play. Edgerrin Cooper had 47 on only 180 run defense snaps. Quay Walker only had 40 on 262. So the run stop rate for Edgerrin Cooper significantly higher. There's no doubt about it. And of course you had Isaiah McDuffie with 45 run stops, but it was on 276 run D snaps as well, even more than Quay Walker had. That's wild to think about. Isaiah McDuffie had more run defensive snaps than Quay Walker did. So,
I think it makes sense to a degree, right? McDuff is your run stuffer. Quay's more of a coverage guy. We had to kind of scratch our head and watch McDuffie trying to chase down some of those tight ends. It was kind of tough.
Yeah, definitely. The other thing I want to mention here, since we're talking backer, is you're as it sits right now. If McDuffie and Wilson walk, you need two more backers.
Yep.
That's what you need to fill your roster out. Now, if you want to say undrafted free agents, that's cool. If you want to say, late picks, that's cool too. But imagine this. Look at what you just did with Edgerrin Cooper. If the right guy falls to you early in the draft and you take him and you find the next Edgerrin Cooper and you pair him with Edgerrin Cooper and Quay Walker in that base 4-3, and what if he puts himself in a position to outplay Quay and now you've got two absolute studs at linebacker? Let me just throw a couple of names out here to you. The top backers on our board, Jahad Campbell out of Alabama. He's 30th on our board. What if he's sitting there in the second round? Damn. We're going to be getting that 1,000 times on draft night live. So what if he fell to you? Here's the next one on our board. The next linebacker on our board is Carson Swisinger. He's in the 48 spot. Now, I'm not saying I like one of these over the other or vice versa. I'm just simply saying this is how our board looks right now. He's in the 48 spot. What if he's sitting there in the second or third round? Would you guys be opposed to that? I know I wouldn't. Look at what Edgerrin Cooper did for this defense this year.
What about that other linebacker from Georgia with the same name?
Oh, you talking about Walker?
Jalen Walker.
Here's the thing, though. Everybody's got him listed now as an edge. They're saying, he's Jalen Walker is an edge defender. He's 25th on our board, Tim. If you drafted him and played him at stackbacker, sign me up. I like him better at stackbacker than I do edge. That's just me personally. But we'll see. So Swisinger is one that could potentially fall. The next one on our board would be Demetrius Knight Jr. at 76. You see what I'm saying? So there's a few guys that if it fell just right, we'd be okay with it, So
where's Chris Paul Jr. on our board?
Chris Paul Jr. Let me just continue going down the board. Next on our board in the 95 spot is Jay Higgins. All right. And then we got Danny Stutzman at 101. Then we got Jack Kaiser out of Notre Dame at 103. Then we've got Chris Paul Jr. at 10. So it would be 106, Tim. So we've got.
That was my question. Did we have Paul higher than Kaiser?
We got Kaiser just above Paul, but Kaiser, let's see, he's actually in the tier right above Paul too. So yeah,
Nice.
I don't know why he turned gray on the board. Do you have any idea, Emilio? Why he's
Kaiser?
Yeah.
Because I just clicked on him.
Okay, gotcha. Perfect. I was like, what did I do? Emilio's
Here's a guy.
Something up. Right on the air. I was going to plead my case. I didn't do anything. That's kind of how it sits. I was going to ask you, Anthony Johnson Jr. that's written in red there at 111.
Yes.
The corner. Why is he in red? Why did we do that?
I did it. I did it for a reason a long time ago. Completely
don't remember
why I did it. So we can change him.
Is it so we remember that he's a different?
Oh,
Anthony
actually,
Johnson
I think I did it for Tim. To be honest, just because it was AJJ, and I think
love
that.
it. I love it. That's as good a reason as any. I promise you. All right, let's see here. What else we had on Twitter? We probably won't be able to get to everything because we're at the hour 10-minute mark. Here we go, Tim. I'm going to let you lead the talk for this right here, man. If we go over to X, it was Vic Tafer. He's got over 100,000 followers. He covers the Raiders. Could you read this for everybody here?
The Las Vegas Raiders plan to extend Max Crosby, plus more takeaways from the NFL Combine below. So in other words, guys, we're not trading for Max Crosby. Sorry.
That's what I was waiting.
Sorry.
All that talk.
All the internet specialists were
now. Here's the thing.
They were incorrect.
Same thing with Ja. Someone said it in the chat. Throw a little smoke screen, create a little value. There's a chance that's happening, but I'm with you. The vibe I got from Max Crosby was I'm going to make sure that the Raiders know that I want to win now and I need a new contract. Yep. And I don't think they're going to let him go because he's that good of a football player, So that's where we're at now with the Max Crosby.
They responded by immediately hiring a legitimate head coach.
Bingo. One that, by the way, is a defensive mind, one of the great defensive minds in the history of the game. So There you go. All right, Absolutely. So there's your Max Crosby. I can't say it like you, man. You crushed.
Yeah, I don't think we're trading for Max. We'd have to auction off the future of our franchise.
It gets me every time. All right. Next on the list here, we'll go rapid fire. Wes Hockwitz, Brian Gutekunst lauding. I don't know what that means. What's lauding mean? Help me out here, guys. What does that mean?
I don't know. Loving
praising.
On.
Praising. Yeah.
So Jacob's lauding right now over at the office.
Yeah.
So Brian Gutekunst lauding Lucas Van Ness for his work ethic and how he fits into the pass rush. Quote, I expect him to take a big jump this year. People will see that and go, GM talk, coach speak, blah, blah, blah. I'm telling you, that's what the tape suggests, in my opinion, is if they turn them loose and they get away from the touch spy and they actually pin their ears back. He finished the season over 11% pressure percentage. And there was a lot of ET stunting going on his side where they would crash him inside, occupying a double, and have Devontae Wyatt loop around. Emilio, we seen him in Nashville. That dude, when he gets to the quarterback, he gets there violent, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he killed Will Levis right there on the field, man.
Absolutely. I mean, he plays the game with speed and violence, and then you see the dude walk into the bus afterwards. It's like, he could just run me over, no problem. It wouldn't even be. It would be
not even know that he did.
Yeah.
What was that?
So I mean, that's the kind of freak athlete we need on the D line, and. That I hope that kiln's hot because we only got one more year or so to get this ball of clay squared away. So I hope that it does, that jump does happen for him, right? Because we all want the best for him. If it's a top 15 pick, we want that dude to work out. So let's give him a little bit of time, a little bit of leeway, and let him get up to where we want him to be.
Twitch defenses. You went from a 34 to a 4-3. All of a sudden, now he's going from a stand-up outside linebacker to now he's got his hand in the dirt.
And what was he in Iowa? 4-3? Like he went 4-3, 3-4, 4-3, up, down, over. He
played a lot of 4-eye. What I noticed on college tape was a 4-eye bull rusher, inside rusher type guys is the way it looks. So they've asked him to do a lot of things that he didn't do coming out of college, and maybe they're trying to find where he fits, but I do know this. Last year, they traded Preston Smith because they felt like, all right, LVN needs more reps, right? Now, they keep that heavy rotation going around Brenton Cox Jr. and all that. If you had to put the pressure on me right now and say, is he a hit or a miss right now, Clay? He's definitely a miss right now, in my opinion. But you don't consider people busts after 2 years. Like it's some of these guys in year 3, they'll take off. Devontae Adams is the guy we always talk about. If the things that people are saying about LVN right now, things that people are saying about Dontavion Wicks right now, you just got to move on, cut him, trade him, blah, 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 whatever. That's what they were saying about Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams was horrendous with his hands. And then he turns into what I think will be a Hall of Fame wide receiver, right? So I know it's 2 different positions, but again, the way the rookie deals are structured too, this isn't hurting you with LVN. Like it's not like, oh my God, we got $13 million tied up in a guy that's not producing a lick. He's doing exactly what they asked him to do. If you watch the pass rush and what the play calls are, you'll see him ETing a lot. And on top of that, he's still getting over an 11% pressure rate. You guys want to know, again, Watt, TJ Watt, 10% pressure rate last year, by the way. Right? Somebody spelled it perfect.
Max Crosby.
Right here, look, Greg Rice. Max Crosby. His was less than 11%, if I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure because we've done a rundown. I did the which player would you prefer and remove the names, and everybody picked LVN over Max Crosby. That's a fact. So,
and it was all over his tape, man. We were breaking down tape from Iowa, man, and like he was bull rushing, being violent, like you said, asked to do a lot of things in that defense, whether he's down or he's upright, inside, outside. I think he's doing the same thing. He's been doing it consistently at the pro level, and he's just, trying to find his stride. I think this could be a huge, huge jump for him this year. I agree with Goody for sure.
Yeah. And again, at the end of the year, though, if he hasn't produced, if he's another 3 or 4 sack guy and he's sitting at about, 10 to 12% pressure rate, I'm going to go, okay, we need to find that other edge, right? Yep. I'll be the first to say it. So it's not like he can do no wrong, but I'm going to go, let me type in on my Twitter real quick, which edge, and see if that pulls it up. Because I had it, like I said, here we go. Packer fans, which edge defender would you rather have on your roster and why? Player 1, 11.2% quarterback pressure rate, 12% run stop rate, $4.77 million cap hit. And the player 2 was 10.8% quarterback pressure rate, 17% run stop rate, $18 million cap hit. And obviously everyone chose, somebody said, give me both with the devil emoji. I love that one. That's the way to handle it. So again, that's not to say that LVN is a better football player than Max Crosby. All it is saying though, is we've got to slow our roll on this. Oh my God, he's a bust. When we're screaming, go trade for this guy. And he had arguably a worse year. You know what I'm saying? In that regard. So anyway, there you go with that. I knew that.
Do you really want to draft any player at any position group that you're not willing to at least see what those first 2 to 3 years are really going to bring you?
There's the only thing worse, Tim, than not admitting that you made a mistake with a draft pick is moving on literally after 2 years and them going somewhere else and just being dominant.
We've seen that before plenty of times.
Micah Hyde. You guys remember Micah Hyde?
Yep.
Who was the other one that went to San Diego at the time? It was the San Diego Chargers. Who was that?
Casey Hayward.
Casey Hayward, another one, right? We've seen it time and time again.
Yep.
All right, let's see what else we had here. Oh, this was interesting. We'll hit it real fast. We won't be able to get to the Greg Cosell stuff. Maybe we can hit it tomorrow or the next day. But Wes Hykowitz tweeted this out. Gutekunst on wide receiver. Obviously, Christian Watson is going to miss some time. We'll see where that goes. That's going to create opportunities for guys on the roster, and I'm excited for it. We have a long way to go with free agency in the draft. I seen another quote that said he's expecting a back at about the midway point. You guys know I've been saying week 12. When I heard Goody say midway point, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, that's closer to like week 9, right? Week 8, week 9.
Yeah, I was just going to say, did we get a little information there on accident?
Maybe.
Is Scoot ahead of schedule right now?
But if he was on PUP to begin the year, wouldn't you have to give him a couple weeks notice before you plan on taking him out? You know what I mean? So like if you tell him he's good by week 9, doesn't he have to be like cleared, good to go, put him on the roster by week 12?
So I see what you're saying, Amelia. It might be kind of that opens up the window
Right. There we go.
Right.
Opened up the window.
Right. But he wouldn't be eligible to play until week 12. Right.
That could definitely be the case.
Right.
All right. So I'm going to hold off on the rest of this. If you guys will remind me, actually, I'll make a note right here. I'm going to say pick back up at Greg Cosell. Pick up Greg Cosell. Because I do want to get to that stuff on tomorrow's show, and then we'll just whatever else we add. And I love it. You notice we have plenty to talk about tonight. Stuff's ramping up. This is awesome. It's absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
So there's one question though that I did text you guys that I want to read here that came in from a listener. I'm not ignoring the text line, guys. It's just the Patreon group blew up. We're trying to, play everything as even as we can. But Robert on the text line there said, one other one I'd like for you guys to look into if you don't mind. Joe Quinn, if I'm saying that right, Joe Quinn Davis, wide receiver out of North Carolina Central. All right, if you'll jot him down, Emilio. I don't think we have him on the draft board, but I'm going to check right now. He's got it spelled Joaq. Yeah, we don't have him on here. Okay, so we'll make sure we get him. He's out of North Carolina Central. And then he said, hey, guys, can you do a deep dive on nasty but slightly undersized Josiah Stewart, edge out of I think we should have him. Most of the Michigan guys we've got.
Yeah, man. 6'1", 245, graded out at a 91.2 last year.
My man. Let's see if we got him. We got Shamar Stewart. And, yeah, we got it spelled Josiah Stewart. So maybe he misspelled it there. It's out of Michigan. Tim, we've got him on our board in the 62 spot. Right, Emilio? 62?
Yes.
I'm showing him. Yep. So he was the 5th highest graded edge defender in college football last year. So
yep. 9 sacks, 20 hurries, 8 QB hits, played 11 games. Yeah, I mean, looks like a pass rush type of guy.
So, I was reading there when you were listing off his measurables. How undersized is he, Tim? One more time, man.
6'1", 245 pounds. It's going to be 22 in a few months.
And, I mean, he's a later pick, so maybe Goody will break the threshold and go with someone like that. You know what I mean? I could see it, but it's I could see it being a possibility with him not being. If it's a first round pick, no way, no how, ain't happening, right? He's
right.
His first round picks are designated to those perfect.
That's just another point to how deep this D-line draft is, though. I mean, dude, we haven't even really talked about, but he's sitting 60th on the board, basically, still behind all those DTs and edges. I think that's just crazy.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. Chuck Jaggers in the chat says, question of the night, you guys still look for green beer on St. Patty's Day. When is St. Patty's Day? It's coming up, right? When is that usually?
What, 13th, isn't it?
March 17th.
I usually have a green beer right here on the show on St. Patty's Day.
Nice, Tim.
Just a little drop of the green in there, right? So
we just do Irish car bombs. That's all we do all day long.
Explain to the folks what the Irish car bomb is.
The Irish car bomb, you pour the Guinness in, and you take a shot of Jameson, drop the JMO inside the Guinness, take the shot. Oh man, we'll do some when you guys come up for the draft. It'll be fun.
Nice. I've got what I call an Irish redneck, where I will pour a beer right in a glass, leave a little bit at the top, and drop a double shot of Jameson Irish whiskey in it. Boom. Nice. Actually, I switched to proper 12 when Conor McGregor bought that label or started that label. I think he's since sold his share. But yeah, so I will have what I call a redneck Irish or Irish redneck, however you want to word it. So
let's go.
Double shot of tequila and a beer. Next thing you know, I'm on the couch and Mandy's pissed off and I don't know what happened. That's what happens there. So, Emilio, you got anything else, man? Anything else?
Yeah, pull up the board real quick. I'll just show you the hometown hero, the boy. Scroll down to 190s for me.
What do we got here?
He's not on PFS board. He's not on consensus big board. He's got the bull, Sean Dolac, the linebacker out of UB, University of Buffalo.
The bull. So hold up, let's show these folks here. So you did the horns, right? The
oh yeah, he's got the horns. Yeah.
Horn emoji here, guys.
Texas doesn't get it. No. I'm sorry. Yeah. So Sean, he was in 2022 54th best linebacker. 23 he was hurt. And then in 24 this past year he was the top 3 linebacker, and he led the. Let's see, hold on here. He's led this year. He started all 13 games. He led the nation in school record with 168 tackles, 18.5 tackles for loss, 6.5 sacks, 5 picks, 5 pass breakups. Obviously, it's in the MAC, but it could be a sleeper. Oh, I'm sorry. Consensus did have him 335. Yeah, just a sleeper. I thought I'd throw it out there.
Got it. If you guys are wondering why he mentioned that, right? Tell him why you mentioned.
Oh, so I went to school at the University of Buffalo. So Khalil Mack, Starks, Sean here, whoever we can get.
So that's why you took the horns away from Texas. I get it.
I love it. I was trying to stall a little bit here because you think he's lying, right? Y'all think he's lying here. Look at this. I got an image to prove it.
We got proof.
Look at your boy here, Emilio. Y'all think
I got an image to prove it. I don't know.
Y'all think he's just another pretty face. Look at my man out there on that lacrosse field.
That was high school. Okay.
Yeah,
all right. You had
that was the article when you signed with Buffalo.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yep. I have my Twitter background, I think, is me playing lacrosse at UB. But yeah, man, it's a fun time. I just figured I'd give a little respect to the hometown.
I've got the picture of you when you signed, and you look like you're 12 years old going.
Yeah, I'm good on that.
So there you go. All right. Look at this. They dogging you. Greg Rice said, did he skip leg day?
Yeah. Back in high school, 100%.
Wow.
100%.
Sit your butt outside.
Greg Rice, we're going to need you to send pictures of your legs. Okay?
Please don't. Please do not.
Please do not text that to Emilio's number at 865. No, I'm just joking. So, all right. Anything? Yeah, I agree with number one Packer. Nah, he got them soccer legs. So,
yeah.
Now, I had the baseball
legs. A year or two later, tore the ACL. Then it all started. I should have hit the squats. I should have been doing 500 pounds like Jalen Hurts. It just didn't get around to it.
Love it.
On my knee.
I've got the baseball legs, man. My brother used to refer to them. If you got kids in the room, ear muff it real quick. He'd say, "You and them bitch ankles." That's what he'd say. God rest his soul. All right. Anything else we got, boys? Anything at all?
No, good to go. We're back tomorrow night, right?
Back tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central for PTA Live, and then we will go morning show Thursday, no evening show Thursday. So, yes, we will be back tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central. Tim, thank you for the reminder, sir.
Sounds good.
All right, that's it. Appreciate y'all's time. Everybody in the chat, thank y'all for hanging out with us. This was really, really, really good time here. Trying to see. Okay, yeah, I think we covered everything. We'll pick it up tomorrow. Awesome. So if you would hit that like button on the way out, feel free to subscribe if this is your first time hanging out in here. I see we had an Eagles fan in the chat. Love the fact that we're still on your mind there, bub. Y'all have a wonderful offseason there. Congratulations on the championship. Yeah, and all that good stuff. So everybody in the Patreon group, special shout out to you guys. I'm going to get everybody information on whether it's going to be a Packers Hall of Fame tour together we're going to do at the draft, or if there's somehow, some way we can pull off a stadium tour. Stadium tour looks very, very, very unlikely, though, because no one's going to be able to book group setting stadium tours. Now, if they do have it open and you got a ticket to the draft, we can say, hey, guys, let's meet up here at this time. Let's all walk through together type thing. I don't know exactly how it's going to work, but anyway. All right, Joe says White House just put out a proclamation that this show sucks. It does. If you guys think this show sucks, hit that like button for us on the way out. All right. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Everybody have a good evening. No more rigged cheat. All right. See y'all later. Appreciate y'all.
And we go.
Bye, guys.